Hey guys, Sam7 here. I do these kind of topic videos sometimes with Halo 5, but instead I'm doing one here with Battlefield because Battlefield 1 has been announced and I'm pretty excited about it. I haven't really been into Battlefield too much since a little bit after the last expansion for BF4 was released. I haven't been playing much Battlefield since then, but I've been a long-time fan of the series. Played every single Battlefield game except for Bad Company 1. That was the only one I couldn't play. Actually, I did play the game. It was the only one I didn't own, but I have played it in the past. I think I rented it at one point. Anyways, point of the video is I want to know what are you guys excited about for in Battlefield 1 and like what do you want in the game? Because I was sort of I played through Battlefield 3 and 4 recently and I've been looking at some old Bad Company 2 gameplays and thinking of stuff like from particularly those games since those are recent Battlefield games in my memory that I'd like to see implemented into Battlefield 1 and things that were in those games that I would not like to see in it. And heck, I mean, you could even include Battlefront in the equation, to be honest. But I was just thinking about those things, and one of them I thought of when I was playing Battlefield 3 in particular, because oh my God, the suppression is so bad on Battlefield 3. It's so dumb. Um, I think that in Battlefield 1, I would hope. I mean, I know they're gonna go like a semi-realistic route with some things because like DICE is pretty good at doing that because their games are not realistic by any means. Do not get me wrong there. They're not. I mean, Battlefield games are as arcadey as Call of Duty games in my opinion. They really are, and you just have to look at it that way. But they do try to put some like semi-realistic things in there to just sort of add a realism factor, and I think you can't deny that. Things like suppression definitely add a realistic factor. Now stuff like spotting sort of takes that out, but you know they kind of try to counteract it a little bit with like suppression and the way the recoil on the guns work. They try to counteract it a little bit, but personally, I would like to see suppression as like have as small of an effect as it does in BF4 or even be completely removed because playing BF3 in particular made me realize how much I hate suppression. I thought it was a feature that I would like, but I mean it sounds cool in theory. The ability to being able to suppress enemies, especially from watching like movies and stuff where they go like suppressing fire and then they charge out. It just sounds like a cool thing to be able to do that, especially with the support class. Like lay down some suppressing fire and actually have that make an effect. Because you always see that in movies and shows and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could actually make use of that in a game? Because usually suppressing fire doesn't really do anything. If the other player has a good shot, it's not going to matter. But the reason I don't like suppression is because I mean, even though we want it to be like a movie, we're playing a game. And in this multiplayer competitive game, suppression is really annoying because it is a feature that rewards you for missing the enemy. If you want to look at it, some people, they'll make the argument and be like, oh, no, you're not missing the enemy, you're just shooting near them to create the effect. And that's the exact point, though. Like, looking at it from a competitive perspective, because I've played other games competitively in the past, something like suppression is ridiculous. Like, I imagine the competitive community also in Battlefield, which, Battlefield does not really have the biggest competitive community. I mean, it's there. The competitive community is there. I'm just saying, like, other games, Gears of War, even, like, COD, Halo, and then I'm not even going to go into the giants like CS and Dota and all those. They have such a bigger pro scene than a game like Battlefield does. But what I'm getting at is that I'm assuming that the Battlefield pros also would be in favor of not having suppression. Maybe they like it, maybe they're crazy, but I would imagine from a competitive standpoint that they would not like it. Now, you do, and this is something I've discussed actually when playing Halo recently, you do want to have a good balance for public matches in these games, though. You don't want every feature in games like this, especially Battlefield, to be streamlined for like hardcore gamers because that kind of alienates a large part of the player base. If you look at it from a realistic perspective, the competitive player base is a very, 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 very small percentage of players. I mean, pulling random numbers out of my butt. The player base for a game like Halo, which has a lot of really competitive players, it's still got to be like 90% casual players versus like 10% pros, and that's giving pros credit. I imagine the percentage of pro players, not pro players, sorry, I'm just saying like competitive players, not pro players. There's a big difference there. But I mean, I would even consider that percentage to be generous. I think it'd be lower than that. I wish I had some actual like stats to back this up, but I think I think we found like population statistics of gaming and prove this, that generally the competitive community is a very vocal minority. I would say it's vocal minority, and you can't really have them decide everything in a direction. Like in Halo 5, you kind of had that, and it's good. I like Halo 5. Halo 5 is probably my favorite game, but there are certain competitive features that I think they ruined it. I like how they were competitive with designing the maps and the weapons and all that. That was good. That made for competitive gameplay, and it's awesome, and it's great, even for players, even for casual players. It's great. But their matchmaking is ridiculous. It's such a hassle to play with friends because I'm playing with people that want to go freaking pro. And it's stupid. Like, I can compete against those guys, but my friends do not play Halo as much as I do. They're not as experienced in a competitive environment as much as I am. And no matter how much they play, they're not going to be able to, with, like, I play with a lot of older people as well. They're not going to be able to compete with those guys. They just don't have the reaction time, and it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous that I can't find a game in Halo 5 that doesn't, that I can't find a game where we can have like a fair game where I can have fun, but they can too. It's ridiculous, and I don't want to see that problem have with the battlefields. Like what I was saying, remove suppression. I want that to be something they do in this game. I want them in this game, and this doesn't just go for suppression. This is sort of my overall, I'd say, point for the video. Is for this game, I do want some features that are a little more for casual players, streamlined a little bit more. Adjustments to spotting and suppression are two of the main ones that I thought of, and I'd like to see those streamlined a little bit more. But I don't want them to. I don't want these Battlefield guys to go too hardcore with the competitive scene, because esports are big right now, and I can understand why DICE would want to do that. I think they're smart enough to not really care, because they realize that Battlefield's not the best game for that environment. But I hope that they do add some more competitive features into the game, but they don't ruin the amazingness of how it is for public players. And that would, they need to find a good balance. This is essentially what I'm saying. I think Halo 5 went a little too hard on the competitive side, and I think games like Call of Duty and public matches go a little too hard on the casual side. Battlefield needs to just find that middle ground where it's like we've got competitive features in the base game to make the game balanced, and but we also have fun features in the game that are also balanced out, and good matchmaking as well to counter all, to act with all of that. They need to find a good balance in that, which is going to be difficult, super hard. I don't know how you do it. I mean, well, you'd have to start from the ground up. I'm not going to do this video to detail how I would do it, but I'm just saying that that's what I believe. What they need to do to make the best game possible is find that little balance between competitive play and public play, and I think that would be fun for everybody, because the casual players would have a really streamlined game that's simplistic, but has like a hard learning curve, which is something that you generally find in competitive games. I think Bad Company 2, when I was watching it, was kind of like that. Like Bad Company 2 had less sort of crappy features that BF3 and BF4 had, but it was also it was difficult though. Like it was simple. Bad Company 2 was pretty simple, but there was a steep learning curve with learning how to play that game, with learning how to handle the guns, with learning where to play on the map, with learning how to control the vehicles, how to control your player, how to play the objective, how to play the maps. I think Bad Company, basically I want to see a return to Bad Company 2 sort of style of it. I think Battlefield 3 and 4 went a little bit too hard on the public side. Bad Company 2 had a really good mix. You know, I feel like Bad Company 2 kept it pretty simple with some solid features, but those features also, they were streamlined enough to the point where there was a learning curve, and like you needed to learn how to play the game. Like the game was easy to pick up, but hard to master is what I'm getting at. And I think the newer Battlefields have kind of lost that. They're a little too easy to master and pick up. And it needs to go back to Bad Company 2, where it's easy to pick up, hard to master. That's what I want to see out of Battlefield. Very long time to get to that point in this video. I'm sorry about that, because it's just a long time. There's so much more to go. I'm not going to do a wish list about it. I'm not going to. But, basically, the whole point of this video that I was trying to get out is what I just said there at the end. I want Battlefield 1 to have less of these, like let's say gadgets, and features like spotting and suppression that BF3 and 4 have, and stuff like the youth have. I want to see less of that crap, especially since they're going to World War I. I think they have a great opportunity to get rid of crap like that in this game. I want to see less of that whole crap, and I want to see more stuff like stuff from Bad Company 2 and just the way the game handles. Like Bad Company 2, the gadgets like all counteracted each other. Bad Company 2 even had like almost a pseudo like perk system. I think people forget about that, but it was very well streamlined. I think they got a little bit of inspiration from COD there, but they had like Magnum ammo and they had body armor, and there were other ones too. The ammo. I mean, it's the same stuff as the specializations in BF3 and BF4. But I think it was balanced. I think it worked better in Bad Company 2 because Bad Company 2 there was less gadgets and less stuff like that. It was a little more streamlined, and it made the game more difficult to get really good at, but it made the game really easy for new players to pick up and be like, wow, like they could still pick up the game and do stuff like, you know, snipe or whatever, and they would just have fun with it. I mean, that's the thing I think Bad Company 2 had that many people don't realize, is that that game had so many things going for it that made the game fun without like having to be good at the game. One of those being the way the class system. I'm gonna cut this video off really quick because I don't want it to drag on too long, but that's another thing. Fix the class system. The freaking assault rifle class, having the medic is bullcrap. Go back to the way it was in Bad Company 2. That was so much better. Bad Company 2 had perfect class balance. That is a huge thing. More important than suppression, more important than adjustments to spotting, more important to any of the other things I mentioned, is getting that class balance back. Because I'm so tired of how in Bad Company, or Battlefield 3 and 4, how it's always engineer. You play Cops and Class, everybody's engineer, everybody's engineer. Stupid. Or you play Rush, everybody's assault, or whatever. Dumb. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. That is one thing that, I mean, I still enjoy Battlefield 4 and 3. I think they're both fun games, but that is one thing that really makes me want to dislike those games, is how bad the class balance is. How bad the class balance is. It's horrible. And they need to take it back to the way it was in Bad Company 2, because the only class balance in Bad Company 2 was that there'd sometimes be too many snipers. And that's not a problem for good players, because good players are able to easily dispose of them, because most snipers suck in Battlefield, let's be honest. But I'm just saying, like, but the fact that that was the class balance in Bad Company 2 shows what I mean. The reason snipers were like the most common class was that it was fun. Like, it was one of those things for people that were bad at the game. They were like, oh, I'm gonna be a sniper, and they get one kill out of like 20 shots they take. They die a bunch, but that one kill they get makes it so satisfying and worth it for them. And I like that Bad Company 2 had that problem, that the only class balance was people using a class that they just thought was fun, and it wasn't that the class was hard. Unlike it is in BF3 and 4, where everybody uses assault, because even the new or casual players understand that that class is frickin' OP as hell. Alright, I'm done. So what would you guys like to see, like, main changes from these newer Battlefields to Battlefield 1? What features would you like to see them borrow? I went over a lot of stuff from Bad Company 2. I'd want to see them borrow, and why. Maybe later on I'll make, maybe at the end of the month I'll make a more scripted, like almost like wish list video of what I want, to sort of concise, get my thoughts in a more concise manner, and get them across in that sense. But overall, yeah, I mean, either way, still excited for BF1, and there are still features from Battlefield 4 and 3 that I'd like to see. It's not just Bad Company 2 stuff that I'd like to see back. Maybe I can go over those in another video. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.